Now, if Enrique Iglesias can be your hero, who else can be?
Happen to find out.
Yeah. Tap in, you already know what it is. You already know what yeah, it is. Tap in, come vibe for a minute. Two friends talking life, yeah, we really just living. From anime fights to the games we be winning. If it's nerdy or funny, yeah, you know we get in it. No script, no plan, just vibes in the mic. 1 minute we deep, next minute we hype. Debating who's strongest, who wins in a fight. Then switch to real life, like you good, you alright, ay. Whatever you into, we talking about it. So tap in, and let's get it. Tap in, you already know what it is.
Welcome to the Tapping Conversation podcast. I'm Jobie,
And I'm Kobe.
and today's episode is called Heroes. We look up to them, we want to be them sometimes. And specifically, we're talking about fantasy heroes, whether it's in a comic book or an anime you watch, or even just that video game you enjoy playing. It's all about heroes. How you doing today, Kobe?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself, man?
Doing pretty well, doing pretty well. You know, we just had the long weekend. I'm ready for another one already. But getting into the heroes, first we're going to talk about some of the comic book heroes. We've each came up with a hero to talk about. And why don't you go first, Kobe?
All right, Joby. So for the comic book heroes, I chosen Storm as my one of my main favorite comic book heroes, but just in
Nice.
heroes in general in the Marvel X-Men world.
Mm-hmm.
With Storm, I would say her just being herself, always being part of the team. She has been a leader before in different roles in the comic books and in the anime itself. She's usually like the second in command normally. But with Storm, I would say with Aurora Monroe is her actual name. She was born in Kenya. She was a tribal princess. Her father was a photojournalist, and her mother was in a tribe in Kenya. Her parents really had like if the listeners doesn't know this by Storm, but her parents had like a tragic death. It was like a bad crash that landed where they lived at and stuff, and that kind of developed her claustrophobia where she can't be in tight spaces. I love Storm because of her ability to control the weather. I would say that is one of the broken abilities that anybody could honestly have because say if you are on an island and it just started randomly just raining. Okay, well, I can control the weather, so now I can make it sunny. I can have a nice summer breeze coming along, or if you want to do like at the opposite, say you're in the desert, just stranded, super hot. Okay, let's change the weather. Okay, now it's raining, it's a little bit more cooler. We're bringing in these cooler winds to kind of like cool you down a little bit. And she can honestly do more than just control the elements on Earth. She can also control like different pressures on different planets. In another comic book, her and Thor actually had a fight a little bit, and they both were tossing lightnings at each other to a point where Thor was talking to the lightning to tell the thunder to stop hitting him. And she was like, "No, I control this thunder. It bends to my will." And they just had like a tussle with the thunders, just like going at it.
Oh, I was just gonna
Yes.
say she's a very tough, take no prisoners character. And when you look at the
Mhm.
X-Men and other comic book characters in general, she she often gets overlooked. However, you know, like you mentioned, her abilities to control the weather, it can be OP at times.
Very OP. And for her, she really has to be in tuned with her emotions because if not, she could just basically destroy this whole entire earth just by whatever emotions that she feels. There was an episode, I can't remember if it was the 90s, the 90s X-Men, but I forgot who it was. It was somebody that got hurt or passed away, and I think it was Scott was flying the X-Jet, and she was crying, and she was trying to, froze like, she was trying to freeze her heart and, like, kinda in a way to calm herself down. Because if not, the Earth was slowly already feeling what she was feeling, like, the Earth was already splitting open, wild winds is going everywhere, lightning strikes is hitting all around, all around them because of just her emotions just being so strong, and that the elements itself bend to her like will of like anything. And I would say that's one of the reasons why I love her. Is just her ability to try to stay calm no matter what, because she knows she can just rip this whole earth just like that if she really wanted to.
Right, and being able to control your emotions, especially in these high risk, stressful situations, that's almost a superpower in itself.
I agree. I agree.
The comic book character I chose was Invincible from the Invincible comics from Image Comics. Do you know much about them?
I know a little bit about the comics. I kind of read, I think, the first seasons of Invincible a little
Hmm.
bit, but I need to kind of pick them back up again. I'm a little bit behind on Invincible too.
Okay, yeah, so I won't get into too much spoilers then. I'll just kind of get a general synopsis of the character, which is Mark
Mhm.
Grayson, aka Invincible. He's this
Mhm.
character who his father was a superhero and he believes in being inherently good. Good for him, good for his family, good for the entire world. But, as the story progresses, he learns that sometimes you have to do bad for the greater good, and some lessons are harder to learn. And he goes to the ringer in order to learn that lesson. And I don't say that lightly. He goes through so much that would make any other character quit, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I agree. I did watch the first season. Are they on? Is it what season three? I think on Invincible.
Season 4 is out and complete.
Oh, season four. Okay.
Yes.
So I do remember first season and a little bit of the second season. So I got to get into the third and the fourth season. But yeah, I would say Invincible himself in the first season, he went through a lot, finding that he had abilities, telling his parents about it and stuff. Omni Man, telling about his lineage and just being a Vegemite, and that they pretty much are these indestructible beings that have to. And also, this is probably a spoiler for most of our viewers if you haven't seen or read Invincible just yet. It's probably a little spoiler for y'all, but the way of how they get stronger is kind of really just taking each other out. Like taking each other out, fighting, training. I know another spoiler with Omni Man's parents when he turned 18, when he was training the little ones, they greeted him as like, okay, so you're 18, so now you're a man, so now we're gonna have to fight you to see how strong you are, because if not, we're about to kill you. And that's one way of them is they have to take each other out to get higher to where they are at and to get stronger physically and like mentally.
Exactly. They bring, like, survival to the fittest to the forefront of their culture as Viltrumites, and I find that, yeah, very interesting.
I do too, because okay, so we have to take each other out to get stronger. And if not, well, the weaker ones are just going to pass away anyways because they're not strong enough to even handle anything that's being thrown at them.
Exactly. And that's one of the many things that Mark Grayson, or aka Invincible, has to deal with. And that's why I think he's one of my favorite, more complex characters in comics. And that's transitioned very well into the TV show. It's on Amazon Prime. You guys should check it out. Highly recommend it. Let's move on to like an anime hero, an anime superhero, or just a protagonist in general. Who would you say is your go-to anime hero?
So I actually wrote this one in my next segment for the anime heroes. Um, he's one of my main favorite ones. He's from My Hero Academia. Shoto Todoroki. I think he is such a good character, good story behind the character itself, a great main character, good protagonist just in itself. Where if the viewers don't know, Shoto Todoroki from My Hero Academia, his abilities is half ice and half fire. One part of him, he can control ice, the other part of him can control fire, and he can do both at the same time, and it's the endless possibilities to either freeze something or freeze somebody, or you can burn him. I would say it was one of my favorite characters from My Hero Academia, just how he was introduced when they, first talked about him in the first season.
Oh, absolutely. You mentioned the fire and ice powers. It kind of, I don't know why my mind went there, but like those old icy hot commercials that had like Shaq in it with the fire and the ice. It just,
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
uh, I guess his powers are kind of like an icy hot patch, I guess, times 10.
You know what? I really didn't think it like that, but yeah, it's like, okay, well, I'm in pain, so let me call down Todoroki so he can ice and hot me just like a really good icy hot, yeah.
Oh yeah, bro can run attack or he can run healing.
See, now you're gonna make me bust out the My Hero Rumble game. I haven't played that in ages. I used to play with him all the time on that game.
The character you mentioned, what are some of his adversities that kind of exemplify those hero traits?
That's a good one. I don't want to have to use his dad, even though his dad is something, but he in a way kind of tributes that a little bit, where his father Endeavor, in a way, he just wanted to have a kid that knows his ability with the fire, and just wanted them to, I would say, use that ability for like good in a way, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
It does.
And
It's like,
if that makes sense.
oh, it absolutely does. Because how could you be a hero without that confidence in yourself first?
Because confidence is key, and they are very big on plus ultra, just surpassing your limits. Like, no matter who or what villain comes your way, just surpass your limits. Plus ultra.
The anime character I chose, and this is going to catch a lot of flack. It's a hot take. And I do want to preface by saying this. My anime hero is also my anime villain for next week's villain episode.
Mm.
It depends on what pieces of evidence you choose to look at and what side you choose to be on. But it's going to be Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. He's going to be my hero and my villain for the anime segment.
I figure you might picked him, but then I was still thinking Light from Death Note.
See, Light was my second choice. I wanted to go with these morally ambiguous characters where, yeah, they do evil, yeah, they do good, but what is their overall? And with Eren, that's really hard to decide because he is probably the most complex character in modern anime. Well, modern storytelling, I would say. Revenge was a huge motivator for him. The Titans destroyed his concept of the world, and his motivation was to kill all the Titans. And he done some pretty sick, twisted things to get to that end goal. But we're going to focus on the good. We're going to focus on the hero side. Eren was loyal. He was loyal to his friends. He made sure he put them first. He made sure they were safe and taken care of. He wanted his people to be safe. He looked out for his people. And yes, that did lead to what he ended up doing. I'm not going to get into that right now. We'll do that for the villain episode. But Eren he's this complex character. You can view him as the hero or you can view him as the villain. And that makes probably Attack on Titan one of the greatest animes of all time, in my humble opinion.
Let me ask you this. So if you could be Eren from Attack on Titan, and you see all the different types of Titans that were just running around eating other people, animals and such, would you do the exact same things of like how he did to survive, and just slowly making those changes, not necessarily saying to be on the bad side, but like on the good side, like all of his good traits of just making sure everybody's taken care of, that everybody's fed. um he had, like he's watching their backs, slicing up all the Titans, like etc. Like, would you be in that world if you could be like Eren in Attack on Titan?
I don't know because, like when we were talking about Invincible, Aaron has had to do some bad things for his concept of the greater good, at least. And it's kind of hard to put myself in that position because we live in a world where food is mostly in abundance for a lot of people, and we have free roam of the world. We're not the prey. So it's very hard to put myself in this situation. It's easy to condemn somebody for doing something bad unless you're able to, fully put yourself in their shoes. Some of the things he did was too far, but some of the things I think I can muster up and do, giving the same circumstances, same emotions, same headspace. But I'm going to give my full opinion on Aaron in the villain episode just because there's a lot more bad than good, my opinion on him. So that was a very good question.
Thank you.
So video games, we love them, we play them. I got to thinking about some of the video game heroes, and it was hard to narrow down on one. So I finally came up with Joel Miller from The Last of Us.
I still need to play that game.
Okay, so I'm not going to spoil anything, but he's
Okay.
not a hero in the traditional sense. I'm not sure if you can even call him a hero, but his choices are clouded by his grief, and I will say this, he does kill innocent people, but he's doing it to protect those he cares about. He's a very loyal person, and he does what he does for his sense of what is his greater good and what he thinks is morally right. So it's another one of those complex characters. I like complex characters. That's just who I am, but
No, I was just gonna say, you bringing up The Last of Us it just reminded me of The Walking Dead with Rick, because he did the same thing. Like he wasn't just good or bad, but he
mhm.
did do some things to harm other people that would either harm him or his family or anybody that he's, protecting, to pretty much stay alive from like all the zombies and stuff. But that put me in the mind of The Walking Dead.
Oh, I agree. Like, Shane adapted to the new world early, and later season Rick was basically early season Shane doing what needed to be done to protect your people. And
Mm.
that's just what those kind of situations do. They bring out a new side of you. Now, what video game character did you pick?
So for mine, it I had about two or three in mind for this one, but the top two, it was between Jack and Dexter or Ratchet and Clank, but I went with Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, nice. Definitely PlayStation goats.
I just love how their stories, how Ratchet, where he came from a planet, I believe it was called Vaston in the Polaris galaxy. He just looked like a whole cat. I think that was one of the reasons why I loved him, just is like his design and how he looked like some type of cat species. But not only that, they're like he's highly intelligent. Like his species on that planet, like they're all smart. And for him, he was just a loner doing his own thing. He was a mechanic, so he was always building and like fixing things. But when you play him and Clank, and then when he found Clank, I believe he found him in a trash bin or something, like a dumpster or somewhere, and he was pretty much defective. Like he's a defective super robot for like the new world where he was from. Clank came from a polluted planet, and the leader on that planet was called Blarg, I believe, and they're just mass producing all these war bots and stuff. And then when it came to Clank, they had like this giant X like alert came up on him as like being defective, so he got tossed out. But when Ratchet found him and started working on him, they started, talking and just learning like one another, and they just go on this huge adventure, just going around saving like different planets and stuff until they actually met some superheroes. I actually forgot the superhero's name, but they really was inspired by the superhero in the game and just started going around saving the different worlds and the planets. But I loved Ratchet when he used the different weapons and you could upgrade these weapons to do like so many different things. It wasn't the first one, but I probably would say on the PS3, maybe PS4, he had this type of weapon that just made like like little pocket black holes. So when you launch the weapon at the target, they just get sucked right into it. And I remember seeing that, and when I upgraded it where it could have a larger span of it, I just thought that was like everything for me.
And Ratchet and Clank is one of those age-old stories how opposite heroes can work together for the greater good. They
Mhm.
it truly shows that opposites do attract.
'Cause them two, they have their own personalities, but they come together as one, and I just love that unison that they bring to, like, one another.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork, and that is correct. I say that almost every day at work. I'm always saying something about teamwork is the dream work because it is. To make things go by smoother and faster, like, why not have us all work together? Because 'Cause we're doing the same thing basically, so let's work as a unit, and we can just get this done quicker.
Absolutely. If we can all coincide toward a common goal, we can achieve it that much quicker and that much more successfully.
I agree.
All right, guys. This is a new segment called If Music is Therapy, Then Who is Your Therapist? I want to use this to explore some of the albums, songs, or even artists that make an impact in my life, and with the hopes that it can introduce you all to some new music as well. Now, music for me is the perfect art form. When you look at the basics of what music is, it's a bunch of sounds and noises arranged to show expression of a certain emotion or feeling. Music for me allows me to express myself when I don't always, have the words. I've always felt extreme emotion when it comes to listening to music. I'll feel the sadness in a song, the joys in like an upbeat tune. Music has always been the perfect avenue to show who I am and express myself. So the question is, if music is therapy, then who's my therapist? Well, this week, I want to talk about Mina Roth. Mina Roth is an indie rock, indie folk artist, and she has the incredible ability to tell deep emotional stories through her music. Now, I first discovered Mina Roth through TikTok. I was doom scrolling one night, as one does on TikTok, and as I was scrolling, I came across a video of this woman playing guitar and singing, and her raw vocals and passionate playing of the guitar, specifically to a song called Clockwork, it immediately stopped me in my tracks. I had to have watched that clip maybe at least a half a dozen times. And then that TikTok, it kind of left me wanting to hear more. So I immediately went to Spotify, and being the nerd for music I am, I immediately listened to her entire catalog of songs. The way she projects her emotions into her music and tells the story through song make the listener feel everything she is feeling. Songs like Clockwork and Vanderbilt, they leave you vulnerable, and at least for me, makes me relate similar things that I have been through in my past. Now, her debut EP, Fault Line, is out now. It's 6 songs, 20 minutes of raw emotion and storytelling. This is an EP I recommend everyone gives a listen to. And that's it for If Music is Therapy, Who is My Therapist? That's all I have for today. It's a short segment, I know. I hope you enjoyed. Now, let's see if Kobe can trip me up with some of his trivia.
So this part of the segment is going to be the heroes trivia. These questions are all tied to what I was talking about for my comic book hero, my anime hero, and the video game hero.
Okay.
So for the first question, this one's going to be My Hero Academia. This one is going to be, when did My Hero Academia season one was released?
Hmm. This is a tough one. I've watched it. I've watched like the first season, maybe first season and a half on Netflix. Um,
Okay.
Never really dived deep into that anime, but I'm gonna say it's got to be in the 2010s. I'm just gonna throw a dart at the map. 2012.
Ooh, you was about 4 years off. So it actually started in April 3rd of 2016, and that first season started from April 3rd and it ended at June 26th, 2016.
Okay, I didn't realize it was that recent. I thought it was a little bit older. Nice.
Yeah, I did too when I was looking at the first season because I remember you talked about it that you've seen some of season one, so I try to keep it in the season one era.
Yeah.
So for the next one, this one is saying who are the big three members. So when I say the big three, I'm saying like who is the top dogs in Class A1.
And this is still My Hero.
This is still My Hero Academia.
And this is just like season one. No later seasons.
No, this one is just season one. I feel like you should at least get two of them right because one of them I did talked about earlier.
See, I keep think. I know we talked about the ultra age, like Shoto Todoroki. I know that's one, correct?
Correct.
Was Mountain Lady one?
No, this one is the class that they're in. All three of them are in Class 1A.
The only one I can think of.
So the other two answers is Izuku Midoriya and Katsuki Bakugo. Those were the big three. I know Todoroki, when I think it was some part in season one where they had like a fight and Midoriya was about to, I think he was about to go 100% or close to 100% against Todoroki, but then one of the teachers kind of stopped the match. But then Bakugo also was jealous of like how strong that Midoriya was getting. Yeah, so like these were the big three in Class A. It was Midoriya, Bakugo, and Todoroki.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go back and rewatch the first season. I'm over 2
Yeah,
today,
because
man.
how you still got this. You still got this, man. You still got this. Let me see another one. So this one will be a Ratchet and Clank one.
Hmm.
When did the first Ratchet and Clank video game came out on the PS2?
I remember seeing it in Rhinos, which was a game store we had at home, like around home. I want to say, I know it was early 2000s. I know it wasn't 90s for sure. I'm gonna say 2002.
Could you give me the month that it was released on?
For the PS2 era, I'm gonna assume it was a fall release, like a holiday release. So I'm gonna say November, December ish.
Okay. So you actually got that one right. It was released November 4th of 2002.
1 for 3.
Let's see for my girl Storm. So this one this one might be a little tricky because this is in a newer comic book that I'm slowly reading that has that tries to dive in a little bit more on her magical side, and spoilers too for our viewers if y'all don't know. Storm also has a lineage of magic from her family tree in Kenya. She comes from a long line of like priestess and like magical witch beings. So for this one, should I give you a little? Trying to see how to word this right. So in Storm's Earth Mightiest Mutant in 2026, who is teaching Storm her magic side? And I will give you a little freebie. It is not Doctor Strange. So if you could think of like any magical being besides Doctor Strange that you would think Storm would align herself with to teach her about her magical side.
Hmm. So I'm thinking about other magical characters throughout the Marvel
Mhm.
universe. And specifically what I know about Storm from the comics. You know, she's a feminist, right? Girl power, right? And
Mhm.
magic user. I'm taking like female magic users. I'm gonna have to go with the most powerful one that's not Jean Grey. I'm gonna go with the Scarlet Witch.
Oh, yay, congrats. Yes.
2 for 4.
And
I had to work my way through that one.
in hey, that was pretty good. I honestly was a little bit skeptical a little bit, but then once you was talking about the strongest, I was like, okay, like he'll probably get this one right. But in Storm's Earth Mightiest Mutant, so Wanda Maximoff is actually the new Sorcerer Supreme.
Hmm.
It's a whole thing about her being the Sorcerer Supreme right now. She has the um I forgot what he called them. The I guess like the three watchers over the Sorcerer Supreme, like that magical realm.
Hmm.
But her, Agatha, Agnes, most of like these magical beings, they're not happy that Wanda is like the new Sorcerer Supreme right now.
Well, they can get over it.
Yeah, they talk about the cape, like how did this cape chose you, and yeah, like I have to read it some more, but they are not happy that she is the Sorcerer Supreme right now. And actually, in the comic books, her and Agatha are. It's a little spoiler. They're actually have a couple of tussles in the comic book itself, where they're just like going back and forth of like who's going to be the title of the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, I might have to actually go to my local comic book store and pick up a copy. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, like it is because hate to drop the spoilers, but in the comic books, well, in this comic book, Storm kind of let some bad guys do some bad things where they kind of put her under like a illusion magic. So everything around her, she's thinking it's just going perfect, everything's fine, but in reality, everything around her is like destroyed, like right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely
So
have to check it
Wanda,
out.
yeah, like you definitely have to, because even Wanda came to talk to her and like show her like lineage of like magic. 'Cause I think the first lesson she was trying to show her like illusion magic and stuff like that, and was just had like all these of like Wanda all around her, and just trying to like show her like, hey, this is what you need to be looking for, because a lot of people or a lot of magical beings do use illusion magic. So that's one of like her lessons is like learning like illusion magic and stuff.
Nice. So that puts me at 2 for 4. Let's hear that fifth one.
Okay. So for this fifth one, hmm, this one is going to be about Storm's love interest. So with this one, I would say if you can at least name three of them. There's five, but I put four on the answers. So for this one, who was Storm's love interest? Comic books, the anime from the X-Men 90s and the X-Men 97 also.
Well, I know she was married to T'Challa in the comics, so I'm gonna say Black Panther for
Mhm.
one. I know, I don't know if it was like ever official, but her and Logan shared multiple romantic encounters throughout the comics and TV shows. So I'm gonna go Wolverine for 2.
Okay, that's two so far. I feel like you should definitely know these next two, or or one more of them.
So I know that Doctor Doom has like an obsession over her and her powers, and there was like some romantic tension between the two characters. So I'm gonna go Doctor Doom for 3.
Mhm. Okay, so you got all three correct.
Nice.
The other one was also Forge. They also had some relations also, and I think the person's name was Yuki, I believe, or Yoka or Yuki. There was another
Mm-hmm.
also love interest there too.
Interesting. Well, 3 for 5. Not a bad showing.
No, you definitely did good. I figure you would got T'Challa because yeah, they're all in the comic books. They have a son together
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. I know Wolverine in the X-Men '90s from I forgot which future, but they had a love interest and everything else. And then yes, with Doctor Doom, he was very infatuated with her abilities of controlling the weather and wants her to go on a date and stuff. And I do remember in that comic book where they actually were on a date, but then I think he encased her or like in a solid concrete or something, but on the inside she was raging out because she's claustrophobic, so she can't be in tight spaces. So everything around her was just going bonkers because she was freaking out, being stuck and can't move. So like there was heavy storms, rain, lightning all around Doctor Doom's castle, just going crazy, and he's just like, wow, like she's really doing this while being trapped right now. So like yeah, that was another love interest.
Well, that's all we have time for today for the Tap In Conversation podcast. We hope you enjoyed it today, and why don't you be a hero and tap in?
Tap in, guys, to be a hero.
Absolutely. You can find us on all platforms. Give us a like and a subscribe. It'd mean the world to us. And just remember, guys, I want
Yeah,
you to put love above hate.
peace, love, and positivity.
All right, bye now.
Yeah. Tap in. You already know what it is.